Welcome back, student. Today we read the seventh chapter of Environmental Studies, Part 2. The name of chapter is the Swaraj, First Conquest. It is no doubt true that Shivaji and his comrades took the oath of Swaraj in the temple of Rareshwar, but it was a very difficult task. In those days, Maharashtra was governed by four different powers: the Mughal Emperor of Delhi, Sultan Adil Shah of Bijapur, the Portuguese of Goa, and the Siddhi of the Janjira. They were powerful opponents, firm in their authority. No one would dare utter a word against them. Under these difficult conditions, Shivaji had taken the oath of Swaraj. There was no comparison between the vast forces of the enemy and a handful Shivaji's Mavlas. But Shivaji's mind was made up, and his firm resolve was his greatest source of strength. Torna Fort. Shivaji controlled the Jagir of Pune, Supe, Chakan, and Indapur. All the forts in the Jagir were, however, in the charge of the officers from the court of Bijapur. He who controlled the forts also controlled the surrounding territory, and therefore all talk of Swaraj without the control of the fort was meaningless. A hill fort gave strategic support to the ruler, and Shivaji decided to capture one at a suitable time. For this purpose, he had selected the fort Torna. It stands to the southwest of Pune in a Kanad valley. It was a renowned fort well suited for defense. There were two strong machis on the way of the fort. A machi is a fortification of a natural plateau formed on the slope of hill. One of these machis was the Zunzar machi and the other is the Budhla machi. Zunzar machi, like its name, could offer a powerful defense against the enemy. The only access to the fort was across the Zunzar machi. It is a very difficult passage with the high hills on one side and the deep valley on the other. A careless person may easily lose his balance and end his life in the deep valley. Torna was considered one of the strong forts of Maharashtra. In the fort, there is a temple of the goddess Toranjai. That is why the fort is called the Torna. Strangely enough, this powerful fort was neglected by Adil Shah. There were neither enough troops for its defense nor enough ammunition. Shivaji knew this, and this was exactly what he wanted. He decided to capture the fort and thus laid the foundation of Hindvi Swaraj. The drums of Swaraj began to sound. With a few select bands of Mavlas, Shivaji descended into the Kanad valley. Swift footed like the deer and the lion hearted in a courage, they raced to the top and captured the strategic positions in the fort. Tanaji Malusare hoisted the Maratha flag at the main entrance. Yesaji Kankar, a trustworthy and the loyal companion of Shivaji, posted his guards at important points. The fort was captured almost without any resistance, and the sky was filled with shouts of Shivaji Maharaj ki Jai. The first battle drums and the pipes of the Hindvi Swaraj had sounded, and their echo reverberated throughout the valley. Shivaji named this fort Prachandgarh, blessings of goddess Bhavani. Fort Torna then came under the Shivaji's administration. He made a very careful survey of it and appointed the officers such as a Maratha Kiledar, a Brahmin Sabnis, and a Prabhu Karkhanis. The garrison included the Mavlas, Koris, Ramoshis, Mahars, and such brave men from many other castes and communities. In Swaraj, all castes and communities were to be treated alike, and no distinctions made on the basis of caste. As repairs to the fort started, a surprise awaited the people. They discovered four metal pots filled to the brim with mohurs. The workers were overjoyed. They said that this was a gift to Shivaji from the goddess Bhavani, who had blessed his efforts. All the money discovered was brought to Shivaji. No one thought of taking anything from it for himself. After all, it was the wealth of Swaraj. Shivaji felt greatly elated at this unexpected gift, which would enable him to pursue his ideal of Swaraj with added vigor. He felt that he was working under the benevolent eye of the goddess Bhavani. Shivaji utilized part of the treasure found in the fort to purchase arms and ammunition. The rest he decided to use for another project which was already in his mind. About 15 kilometers to the east of Torna is the hill of Murumdev. Shivaji had his eye on it for a long time. This hill was a steep and difficult of access and therefore of a great strategic importance. Adil Shah had actually started constructing a fort on this hill, but he had left it unfinished. This hill also was not well guarded, and Shivaji decided to capture it, the first capital of Swaraj. One day, Shivaji climbed up the hill with a select band of his followers and took possession of the partially completed fort. The money found on Torna was used to complete the fortification of Murumdev. Shivaji named this fort Rajgarh. Stonemasons, carpenters, blacksmiths, water carriers, other workers, all the people got busy. They built the Raj Mahal, Bara Mahal, and 18 workshops. Rajgarh became the first capital of Swaraj. Shivaji's rapid progress. From then onwards, Shivaji moved swiftly and captured one fort after another in Mawal. The whole country known as Bara the 12 Mavlas, was overflowing with joy and excitement. The Patils and the Deshmukhs from many villages came and swore the alliances to Shivaji. But Mawar had its own share of blacklegs who were ever ready to put a spoke in the fast moving wheel of Swaraj. Jealous of the Shivaji's success, they complained to the Adilshahi collector at Shirwad. The collector dispatched messengers to Bijapur and informed the Adil Shah of Shivaji's rapid progress. Shivaji, the shrewd politician. Adil Shah was the most surprised to get the news. He asked Shahaj Raje for an explanation. Shahaj Raje got himself out of this difficult situation by telling the Sultan that Shivaji Raje had probably taken over the fort for a better administration of Jagir. Shivaji also sent this message to the Sultan: I had taken a possession of the fort for a better administration of the countryside. We did this only in the interest of the Sultan. There was no evil design at the back of this action. The two forts of Kondhana and Purandar too had a strategic location. Shivaji